Hello Markham Gardens family, Daniel Markham here with the Markham Gardens. Today I'm bringing you guys along for another project. You guys know that we've got the pepper deck out here, so we've got a whole bunch of varieties of peppers. Let me spin you around here and I'll show you. So we've got peppers of all kinds. I mean, we've got different types of cayennes, we've got bishop's hats. You can see right here ripening. We've got, Temprana jalapenos, which are these yellow guys right here. We've got an ahi fantasy pepper that's growing on this one. We've got a couple other types of peppers here, a goranong and a few other different odd ones, but we've got some Carolina Reapers over here. I don't see any hanging right now. I already picked a bunch of them off. We've got the Tabasco peppers, we've got some serranos, we've got no heat jalapenos, we've got regular jalapenos. Guys, we even have over here on the deck, we have some habaneros, you guys can see, that are ripening here. Just beautiful peppers. We've even got a bush here of the ghost pepper, and we've got a few of them on there, but none of them are ripe right now. So anyway, we've had this pepper deck going since spring, and they are producing like crazy. You can see they're beautiful, doing awesome. But we are coming to fall, guys, and I know that a lot of you are actually cooling off a lot faster than we are here in Southeast Texas. We've got a long growing season. I've got a couple months here of really good pepper growing for sure, probably all the way through January here. But for some of you guys are coming to the end of your pepper growing season, and you're probably going to have an abundance of peppers. Most of your pepper plants produce extremely heavy in the fall time, whenever they're not having to battle those high temps anymore. If they made it through, they've got massive root systems, so they're creating a lot of pepper production. And so a lot of you are going to end up in a situation where you have all of these peppers and don't know what to do with them. And I want to show you guys what I do with all of my peppers whenever I come to the end of the season. I've got too many peppers. I mean, you can do several things. You can ferment them. You can can them if you want to. But the thing I like to do, guys, is I like to dehydrate them, and I like to turn them into powder. And the reason I do that is because I don't have to add any ingredients to the peppers, guys. I can dry those out, I can powder them, and I can add them to all types of foods, and I can have the flavors of those peppers without having to add any sort of vinegars or changing the flavor of them at all. So I'm going to bring you guys along today and show you the process of the whole dehydrating, and then also putting them in to go ahead and powder them up and show you that whole process. So anyway, follow along with me today. All right, guys, so I'm in here at the dehydrator. I have already dehydrated these peppers, guys. Let me flip you around and I'll show you. So what I ended up doing, guys, is I've got this Cosori. I mean, you can use any dehydrator that you've got. They all work well. This is not an advertisement for this company, but this is the one that we happen to get. And so what I did is I've got one tray left. I've already done a bunch of them, but before I finished, I wanted to show you guys the process that I do here. So I take all of my peppers, and so your larger peppers that are going to be like jalapeno size, or serrano size, I'm going to cut those in half. So I cut those in half and I lay them on these grates. So I don't have them touching. I make sure that there's space in between each one so that there's air that gets in between the peppers. You can see I don't have any of these touching. They're all separated. Now these are just because they fell off the tray just a little bit while the wind was blowing in there. But I do separate them out so they've got a little bit of distance between them. And the larger peppers, like I said, I will cut them in half and lay them out on the tray. The smaller peppers, like your cayenne, your Tabasco, your Pekin peppers, those really small ones that if you cut them in half, they basically fall through the grate right here. I just set those in here whole. And so then what I do as far as the temperature is I set these for a 24-hour period. Now I've seen a lot of stuff where you can actually run for 16 hours on some of these. 16 hours will do it on some peppers. But because I've got a variety of large peppers and small peppers, I go ahead and do a full 24 hours, and I run it at 145 degrees. So I have done it on about 130 degrees. But when you do it at 130 degrees, sometimes you hit that 24-hour mark and some of those larger peppers are still a little bit gummy. And you really don't want them gummy. The sugars are still in there and not fully dried out. So I set it at 145 degrees and I run it for 24 hours. And at the end of that 24 hours, they are pretty crisp dry, like they're ready to go. Now I know that the higher the temperature, the more that you are going to destroy a lot of those beneficial oils and things that are in your peppers, but at 145, I seem to get great flavor. They seem to do really well. So that's what I recommend. I recommend if you've got peppers of all different sizes, do 145 degrees and run that for 24 hours. So what I've done here is I've got a tray left here of the Tabasco. And so I'm going to show you guys on this last tray what I've done. Now I have already set some of the, you can see here I've got a whole bunch of the cayenne peppers that I've knocked off of one of these trays. And I'm just going to show you guys the process of what I do with these peppers. So we have a bullet mixer. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen a bullet mixer. Let me show you. So this is our NutriBullet. And so it comes with these right here. I mean, you can use a regular blender, you can use a food processor. The reason I use this bullet is because it chops extremely fast and gets really fine. But you can see basically they have these containers that you can pop these lids off of here, and they've got the blades that are inside. You flip this upside down, you'll fill this cup full of whatever it is that you're going to chop, tighten this lid on there, flip it upside down, and that thing starts blending inside of there, and all the gravity drops it down into the bottom. Makes it really, really nice. All right, guys, so what I do is I just take all my dried peppers. You can see here, these are all the cayenne that got dried out over the 24-hour period. So I just go ahead and I drop these into this cup. We just want to drop them all in here and fill this cup up with all of these peppers, basically. All right, guys, so I've got all of these cayenne peppers into this cup, and you'll notice I've got several seeds here. Now, this is up to you, guys. If you cut your peppers open and you don't want your seeds in your powder, then pop all the seeds out before you dehydrate your peppers. Now, I leave the seeds in because there are several varieties of peppers that a lot of the flavor of those peppers, like a smoky flavor or sometimes a little bit of a floral flavor, will actually come from the seeds in those peppers. So I like to go ahead and add all the seeds to my powder, and so I will drop all of these in this cup, and I make sure that I get all of them in there as well. So all right, so we've got all of our cayenne peppers in here in this little cup. This is a miniature one of the one I showed you guys just a second ago. And so now I'm going to grab the blade. So here's the blade that I'm using. You can use the one like this other cup like I showed you that has the 4 blade. It'll probably do it a lot faster, guys. But this is the one that I've got right here that I have used for peppers. And it's basically set to just use for peppers. We don't use it for anything else because I've got some pretty hot peppers that I use this on, and it will impart flavor to other stuff, sometimes even the heat if you wash it. So but now we're going to go ahead and we'll screw this on top of here. All right, so I've got my lid screwed on top of there. Now I can flip it upside down. You see all the peppers fall into the bottom. You're going to pop that into your NutriBullet and pop it down and go. So I'll flip it upside down, bang it on the bottom, and I just check to make sure that I don't have any whole pieces in here anymore. I want every bit of that to be powder. Now we will go ahead and put this in our jar. So you can see I've already got a jar here. This powder here is I had a little bit here in the bottom you can see from my last batch. I just went ahead and started adding to it, and all of this that you see here came off of the first, I think, 4 trays in this dehydrator. So you get quite a bit of powder, and you'd be surprised how far this stuff goes, especially when it's hot. So now we want to go ahead and pop our lid off of here, and I want to go ahead and pour this into here. Now I am using a funnel, because if you take this thing right here and you go to pour into here, it's going to go everywhere. Then you're going to have to clean it up. You're going to get it all over your hands. Then you're going to rub your eyes and your nose, and you're going to be crying because it's really hot. So let me go ahead and undo this lid, and we'll pour it through the funnel. All right, so we've got our funnel on top. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pour this into here. And then what I do is just shake this back and forth a little bit. You can see it pouring out into the bottom there, but it takes a little bit. So that keeps me from having to handle it too much. Otherwise, my hands are going to get hot and everything else. So, all right, so we've got one more batch. So let's go over here and we'll do our Tabasco peppers. Let me grab those. So we've got our tray of Tabasco peppers here. All right, so I've poured all of the Tabasco peppers off of the tray, and now we're gonna do the same thing basically as those cayenne peppers. We're gonna pop all of these. Now I did all of these whole, so seeds are all contained, and we're just gonna pop all of these into this cup. All right, now that we've got all the Tabasco peppers in there, we're just going to repeat the same process. All right, back to our NutriBullet, and here we go again. All right, guys, that should do it. So let's get over here and we'll pop all that into the bottom. Let's go ahead and pour it back into our jar again. Let me get the top off. All right, so again, I'll put my funnel on there. Now, guys, be careful. When you pop the top lid off of this thing, there may not even be dust in the air, but peppers are so caustic that there are fumes that are coming out of this. And the fumes themselves will make you cough. So it got me earlier. I had some Carolina Reapers and some ghost pepper, and had some habaneros in there. And when I opened it up, it lit me up pretty good. So be careful with that. So, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pour these Tabasco into my funnel. And then we'll go ahead and shake our funnel down. Oop. Oop, I'm making a mess already. Well, now I'm going to have to touch it anyway. Made a little bit of a mess, all right. I like the heat. So let me go ahead and clean this up and then I'll get back to you. All right, guys, so I went ahead and washed both of these. Just a warning to you, when you put these in the water and you start to wash them, it is going to let off vapors, and you're going to be coughing like crazy. The vapors came up out of here. I was over here losing it, just coughing up a storm. So just a warning to you, when you're washing these, be careful when you breathe. All right, guys, so you can see we've got multiple batches, all the different peppers all mixed up in here. This is our pepper powder that we came up with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop this lid on here. And I'm just gonna give this a good shake because I want this all mixed up, basically. So let me go ahead and get this shook up and I'll come back to you. All right, guys, so I finished shaking it up. This is the finished product. And so what I like to do also, though, is I like to put one of these little desiccant packets. So I get these in our medicine packets. And so this one right here, you can see the pillow pack. You can't eat this stuff, but it is sealed inside of this container. And this is just to prevent moisture from building up, so you don't have any mold or anything like that growing in your powder. And just to keep it really powdery so it's easy to use. And I got this out of just an aspirin pack, guys. So there was a packet of aspirin that I ended up getting, had this inside of it. Here's another one. This one came inside of, I've been using this one, but came inside of a antacid bottle or something like that. So I just used these guys to keep the powder dried out. So we're gonna put that inside of here. So we'll pop this off of here, and we're just gonna throw these desiccant packs in here just to keep it dry and keep it to where it doesn't, you know, pack up really, really tight and it actually pours out some. So guys, they're super, the pepper powder is super beneficial. So it has a lot of different benefits, from eye health to cardiovascular health. It boosts your immunity, speeds up your metabolism. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that peppers do. I will put right here basically a list of a whole bunch of stuff that it does, and post that so that you can see those benefits. So, you know, being able to use your peppers all the way through winter like this without having to change the flavor. Basically, I've just ground these up into a powder, and so now I can use this on all sorts of stuff. This is my favorite way to do it. Now, I have seen people take the little capsules that you make pills out of, and I have seen them take those capsules and put this pepper powder inside of it. If you can't stand the heat, you don't like the, you know, that burn from those peppers, but you want to get all the benefits of eating hot peppers, then you can put those into those little medicinal capsules, and you can take those in the morning, and basically you won't have to deal with any of the facial mouth heat or anything like that. So that's an option for you as well. But before we go out, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to taste this powder. I want to know what it tastes like, and I figured I'd bring you guys along with me. It does have Carolina Reapers. It's got ghost peppers. It's got habaneros. We've got serranos and tabascos and, you know, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So it is pretty hot, but hang with me, and we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. We're going to taste it real quick while I'm with you guys. So, all right, so this is what I've got here, guys. I've got a pretty good spoonful, and we're going to give this a shot and see just how hot this stuff is. So here we go. This might be fun. Oh, the flavor's phenomenal. I mean, it is really good flavor. Definitely hot. Definitely hot. It is kicking in. So, but great flavor. It's super sweet. When you do this powder, it really brings out all of the flavors in the peppers. You get a lot of that sweet flavor in them. You definitely get the heat. Oh man, my tongue, the roof of my mouth, my throat, everything's on fire right now. That's the cool thing too, is a lot of different peppers. They all burn in different ways. So some peppers will get you on your tongue. Some of them get you in the back of the throat. Some of them, you know, just your cheeks or your lips or things like that. Now my lips are burning. So yeah, definitely getting a full heat from this one. But really good pepper powder. And I love adding this to all sorts of stuff that I make. So when I have eggs in the morning, I'll add this pepper powder to it. It's really, really good. It's definitely hot, guys. I am sweating. Yep. So anyway, hope this helps you guys. Hope you guys can find a better use for your peppers, so you're not having to just ferment them or can them. That way they don't go to waste. You can actually dry them out, grind them up, put them in a jar, and you can add them to whatever it is that you're cooking, whatever it is that you're making. Just make sure that you don't breathe this stuff in and don't stick it in your eyes, and you'll be good to go. But anyway, thank you guys for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Shalom under the dome.